We are now joined by Chase Elliott, driver of the number 9 Napa Auto Parts Chevrolet. For Junior Motorsports, he currently leads the NASCAR Nationwide Series point standings by 19 points over his teammate Regan Smith. Chase, coming into Talladega, will be your first NASCAR Nationwide Series start here. Talk a little bit about practice yesterday and then kind of your expectations for the race tomorrow.
Practice was pretty straightforward. There wasn't a lot of action going on. I think everybody's trying to be as conservative as they can and take as few chances as they can to tear up a race car. So that's kind of the route that we took yesterday. And I feel like all three of our cars had plenty of speed in them, and hopefully we can just try to stay out of trouble tomorrow.
All right, we'll go ahead and open for questions for Chase. Please state your name and affiliation. We will go ahead and start with Alan.
Alan Cavano, NASCAR.com, behind the cameras. But Chase, you have got the Daytona under your belt. So do you come into another restrictor plate race with a lot of confidence, or do you still say, I'm a rookie, I don't know much?
No, I really don't know a whole lot about it. I didn't do a very good job at Daytona, really being aggressive where I needed to and taking advantage of the air and kind of especially watching the Cup guys and how they do that. So hopefully I learned a little bit at Daytona, and hopefully it'll be an improvement from there. At least I'll definitely be happy with that for sure.
All right, go ahead.
Hey, Chase, Mike Mahedin, frontstretch.com. Can you elaborate a bit more on your dad's involvement and his input with you on a day-to-day basis and also at the track?
Well, his input on a day-to-day basis is like any dad, really. I think the best role he's played, especially this year, is just being a dad, and I think that's all you can ask for. So he's, you got to have that balance, and I think he's done a good job there.
All right, we'll come on to Bob and then Stan. Go ahead, Bob.
Bob Hocker, Sporting News. Would you consider kind of Daytona maybe the one race this year where you kind of really felt maybe a little bit out to lunch, and kind of what did you learn at that race?
Well, I think there was a lot of things to learn from that race. That was, there's obviously a lot of spotlight that surrounds Daytona every year, so that was just a different feel, I felt like, in itself. So kind of now that the season's gotten rolling a little bit, I feel like it's definitely a little bit better. It's just not as big of a spotlight as it was at the beginning of the year. So I think it's good to kind of have things rolling now, and just to be kind of through the beginning stages of the year, I think, is the biggest thing. Just kind of has a little bit of a different feel to it, and definitely as far as the racing side, I feel like I learned a lot at Daytona this year that I hope helps us out tomorrow, which I have to see.
All right, go to Stan.
You can't see me. I'm back here somewhere. Stan Creekmore with RPMTonight.com. Did you have any conversation, though, with your dad about what to expect here at Talladega, and does his success here, how does that affect you, if at all?
I honestly haven't talked a lot about it at all. Things are pretty different, and he hasn't run a nationwide race here, I don't think, and if he has, it's been a little while. So, definitely got to be mindful of how much things have changed, and there's definitely a lot of knowledge to take advantage of there that you have to ask questions, and maybe come race day I might do that. Just have to see how things go.
All right, let's go back to Bob for another question.
Bob Hocker, Sporting News. Do you have any special memories of Talladega coming here with your dad?
Honestly, I was pretty young or not around whenever he did most of his racing here, but the past number of years when he was racing for the Wood Brothers, I do remember those trips over here. So that was, other than that, I don't really remember a lot about it, but I do remember some of those trips he made with them. It kind of has that feel to it. Like I'm going home tonight and I come back tomorrow, so it's really close to home for us. Really, other than Atlanta, I feel like it's probably the closest. So that does kind of have that feel of being close to home for sure.
All right, go ahead.
Solomon Crenshaw, Alabama Media Group. Does the name Elliott carry an extra weight for you? And obviously you've only had that name forever, but if I say being in this industry as your dad was so successful.
No, it really doesn't. The best way you can go about it, and I always have and always will have a lot of respect for my dad and everything he's done, but I'm not him and he's not me, and if I don't get the job done for myself, I'm not going to be around very long. So that's the way I've always looked at it, and that's the way I'm going to continue to do so.
All right, we'll go to Marty Smith and then to Jennifer. Go ahead, Marty.
Marty Smith, ESPN. Congratulations on your success so far, bud.
Thank you.
What's it like going to school right now? How's it changed? Like, what are your buddies saying to you right now?
I mean, honestly, it's really not any different for me. You know, I've especially the guys that are close to me and I've always hung out with. They all know I've always raced. You know, ever since I've really been going to school where I do now. So they've always been aware of what I like to do on the weekends, and they've really always been supportive of it. So it's really not any different now than it ever has been. And hopefully, have some come out and watch this weekend. It's being close to home, so they try to come out to a couple whenever they can. So I think this might be one of them.
All right, Jenna, do you have a question?
Jennifer, our AP, Marty kind of totally stole my question. But you,
Gotcha.
Do your friends come to races, or do people at school watch the races now because of you?
I hope so. I mean, I hope that's the case. But definitely, like I said, my friends that I'm close with and I've always hung out with, they've tried to come to races over the past couple of years, and they've made it to a couple so far this year, and they might come out this weekend. So definitely, the guys that I'm close with always have, and I've always been supportive of it. And I'm hopefully, I hope other people are interested in it now. I think that's good. If that's the case, and hopefully they'll come out to some races sometime.
How's your popularity, and are you struggling for a prom date?
Well, prom's gone, so I missed out on that one. But no, like I said, like Marty said, it's really not any different for me. And everybody that I've gone to school with knows that I've been racing for ever since I've been going there. So that side's really been pretty straightforward.
So the 2 wins didn't push things to a new level for you?
Not really. I mean, just kind of have to keep going about your own business and keep trying to do what you love to do.
Okay, we'll go back to Mike.
Mike Neff from FrontStretch.com. Chase, your popularity is growing in leaps and bounds, and I've been to Gresham to see you run a super late model and seen the autograph lines you had even then. But I'm curious, with it just getting so out of control of late, do you miss being able to just go to the local track and run? And are you going to be able to get to still do that once the season's over, maybe run a snowball again?
I always loved short track racing, and I would love to do as much of it as I possibly can. I've always said I'll go racing if I can logistically make it to a race and go run a late model somewhere. I'm down to go anytime. So I would love to race as much as I can. This year the way things kind of panned out and being as busy and kind of being new at all this and whatnot, this year wasn't a good year to go try to run Friday night and then go run somewhere Saturday night. So I'd love to do that at some point. I think racing as much as possible is a good thing, especially we have late model cars and stuff. I think it'd be good to go run. I don't foresee myself going back to the snowball this year. I would love to go back at some point, maybe next year or the year after, but we'll have to see how things go and got to make sure we have the right people before we go back. Yep.
All right. Any final questions for Chase?
Yeah, Michael Smith, WDNG. 18 years old, you're leading nationwide in points right now. Can you talk a little bit about if you're feeling any pressure at this age, being a rookie, leading nationwide, and kind of some of the experience that you're getting from some of the other teams, some of the other drivers, being so young and still leading in points?
Yeah, well, and I've said this past few weeks. Leading the points right now is like having the best batting average on opening day. It's really it's good and all, but it's kind of irrelevant because we're week 8 and of 33. So you have to go about it week by week basis. There's nothing you can't get caught up in it. There's really no point in even looking at the point standings till you get till July or August, in my opinion, because it really just doesn't matter. You're going to go out each week and you're going to try to win the race. That's everybody's goal. You hope you can achieve that each week, and we're going to give it our best effort to do so. And if you can go do that and do it to the best of your ability, the points are going to figure themselves out, and there's really nothing you can do about it. So you just have to kind of go about your own business and see where things end up.